So today we're going to go over some techniques for safely handling dogs, big and small, in the salon. First, we're going to talk about approaching a dog in the salon. So we always want to be aware of our safety and danger zones. So when I approach large breed dogs and small, I'm always thinking about my hands and my face, and I'm going to keep my face back away from any dogs that I don't know and haven't handled before. So we're going to go in here to Dior, and hi, baby. We're going to walk in and say hi. She's displaying some nice wagging of her tail and that she's friendly and sweet. I'm not going to bend down and put my face near her, but I will say hello. Hi, baby girl. Hi. And the first thing I'm going to do is secure with a lead. I like a slip lead so that they can't pull back and get out of it. And before I walk out of the kennel, I'm going to make sure that this lead is right up behind her ears. With any large breed dog, if I've got my lead down here at the base of her neck, she has a lot of strength that she can pull me across the salon with the strength of her lower neck and shoulders. So I'm going to bring it right up behind her head. I'm also going to make sure that I hold the lead very close to her. This gives me more leverage to keep a good hold on her. If she's too far out in front of me and she lunges, I'm going to get pulled forward and risk injuring my lower back or possibly falling. So I'm going to have it right up behind her ears. I'm going to hold on to it right behind her head, give her a nice greeting, and then we can walk through the salon. Before I go and walk through the salon, I'm going to look around. We have a lot of dogs and employees sometimes in our salons. There's a lot of other dogs moving around. I don't want to risk running into another dog and having them meet where we don't both have control of the situation. So I see that I've got a clear runway, nobody's out on the floor, and I'm ready to bring Dior to my grooming table. Come on, Dior. Good girl. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about securing your dog once you're on the table. And these principles are going to apply for both small and large breed dogs. Dior here is very comfortable on the table. So the first thing I'm going to do is I still have my lead that I've walked her to my table with. So we've always got some point of securing this pet and having it within my control in case maybe she sees something across the salon and wants to leap for it. I'm never at risk of losing control of her. So the first thing I'm going to look at is my grooming arm, and this is going to be my one point of securing this dog. This arm is a little low for her, so I'm going to raise it up a little bit. And what I'm looking for in the height of my arm is that I have this where she doesn't have a ton of room to move around the table, but she doesn't have consistent pressure lifting her up. So right now that's a little high. I want her to feel relaxed. I don't want her to feel like she has to hold her chin up or head up in order to stay without this putting pressure on her neck. So I want to make sure it's nice and a little bit of leeway, a little bit of room so that she can stand relaxed and have her muscles relaxed, but not so low that, say, she has room like that where she can move far enough away to think she might be able to step off the table, right? So I'm going to put it back up to where I think it's at a comfortable height for her. So that's going to keep her secured for me without a lot of room, but not too high where she feels like she's choking. At this point, I can remove my other lead. And if in the case where she were maybe a difficult dog or she were turning her head back around towards me to bite me while maybe I was doing her nails or something, you can use a second point of secure. So in this case, we have a Velcro on lead here, and we can secure that to the bottom of the lead if I need to. If I'm going to do that, I want to remember that that was going to put pressure on this lead downwards to where it's secured to the arm. So I do probably need to tighten up my top lead just a little bit so that if she pulls back, the pressure here can't pull it forward off of her head and she can get away. And not so tight that I can't still fit 3 fingers into that loop. Okay, now she's being a very good girl, so I don't need to use this. Now, if I had secured her at this 2-point system and she weren't used to it, some dogs will react out of fear and they don't like the feeling of being secured from both directions. They may really start pulling back, rearing or jumping or trying to get out of it. In that case, it's not safe to rely on both of these points to secure this dog. So I would not use this and I would go and get a helper to help me hold this dog while I worked on it. That way I have not just something they're tied down to, but somebody there who can make decisions and watch what's happening and also reward this dog when they do relax and give us what we're looking for behavior-wise. Also while they're on the table, number one golden rule, we never step away from this dog. We don't want to lean over to get supplies just far enough so we don't have a hand on this dog. So the rule is that we always have a point of contact with us and the dog. So if I needed to reach down and get something, I'm gonna keep one hand on her so that I know where she's at, that she's not risking stepping off the table or going anywhere. And I'm also gonna keep an eye on where her feet are. Not all dogs know how to stand on grooming tables or where the edges are. So it's my job to look out for them for that and watch that maybe if she's moving away from me this way and she doesn't know that she's close to the edge and she starts to step off of it. So I just wanna keep a hold of her. Specifically with large breed dogs, I like to always maintain a point of contact here in the flank. I've got good control over the front half of this dog with my grooming loop, so I like to keep control here. These large dogs often want to step left or right off the table and swing their back end around, and if I've always got a hand kind of under them on the tummy or the flank area, then I have control of that. So if she starts to step that way, I can hold her to me this way and keep her from stepping off the table. And then a final note is we don't want to lift her too high. I don't ever want her to go high enough that she can fall off, or if she did happen to step off with her back in, she wouldn't be hanging from the loop here in the front. So if it is the case where she were to step off, I want my table close enough to the ground that just her back feet touch the ground and she's not actually falling. So this is about as high as I would want to take her. Maybe if I knew and she were a good dog and comfortable on the table and I needed to work on scissoring these feet and pom-poms, I might lift her up just a little bit more so that I'm not straining my back to bend over and do that. But I think at this height, it's safe. It's at my center of gravity so that I can physically hold and secure her. And also I can pick up her feet and work on them comfortably without bending over the whole time, and we're in a safe position. I would never, ever, ever put a large breed dog up on the table as high as it will go or with the small breeds. And then when you do lower and raise your table, make sure you're securing your dog with one hand and you have a hold of them. They're not always used to the sensation of that table rising and falling. So you want to have a hold of them in case they get a little bit panicked and they're like, oh, the floor's dropping out from underneath me. You want to hold on to them. So next, we're going to look at handling little dogs and also getting dogs in and out of the crates. Okay, so now we're going to show getting a large breed dog on the table safely. So in this case, I always want to keep my table low for the large breed dogs. Even when they're good and they're on the table, I don't want to lift my table too high and risk them maybe accidentally stepping off and falling a distance. So I'm always going to keep my table low. So the first technique we're going to use is if the dog is willing, I'm going to ask her to step up on the table while it's down low enough for it to be safe for her to do so. Dior, come on. You want to get up? Come on. Up, up. Good girl. So she very easily jumped right up there, and I've maintained secure hold on her the entire time, and she's comfortable on the table. And then because it is short enough to the ground, I can also ask her to jump down on her own safely. Come on, Jordan. Let's go. Down. Good girl. Good job. Now I'm going to show a team lift. So if this dog were not physically able to get off the table by themselves, I would grab a team member to help me do a team lift. Kim, if you want to come on in here and we'll demonstrate a safe team lift. So I'm going to still hold on to my lead. I want to make sure I always have control of the dog that way. I'm going to get the front half of the dog and I'm going to support her behind the front legs, and Kim's going to support her here at the back flank, and we're going to 1, 2, 3 lift. Good girl. And we're gonna make sure she has her feet under her and she's comfortable up there. And that's a proper team lift. Also wanna make sure that you're lifting with your legs and not bending over and lifting with your back. Dior here is nice and light because she's a poodle, but we all know we have some very heavy dogs. And another quick note on team lifts, and even when you're lifting by yourself, we never want to reach behind and lift a dog with a grip either in the crotch or at the back of the thigh here, because some dogs have knee injuries or hip injuries. We don't want to put their weight on those areas. So always lift under, stand up. Good girl. I always come right underneath the flank here with my arm, and that's a nice secure place to lift from. And if I were lifting her on my own, I would get her chest area and her flank, and I could securely pick her up this way and have it be nice and safe, and she's comfortable and doesn't have any pain points that I might push on and have her react to. And then to set her down, I'm gonna use my legs and securely set her down. All right, so now we're gonna discuss some safety and handling in the salon for small dog breeds. And we're also gonna address going into kennels to get dogs out. So sometimes when dogs arrive at the salon, maybe they're not used to coming and they're a little bit afraid, and we immediately put them in a kennel. And these are very open wire kennels, but in a lot of salons we have closed solid walls. They feel like they're in a little safe den, and if they're nervous or scared, they're now sucked back into the corner, kind of protecting themselves. And then you come along and you're gonna reach in to get them out, and they might feel like you're pulling them out of that safe little area and you're a stranger and they're more scared. So they may react. So we wanna keep a couple of things in mind. First of all, we are gonna be thoughtful about our hands. We're definitely gonna protect our face, and we're not gonna put our face in close to these dogs. So I would never reach into a kennel without first talking to the dog and seeing how they're feeling about me. And I definitely would not put my face in close to the dog and risk them lashing out and biting at me. So the first thing I'm gonna do as I approach is I'm gonna visually just look at this dog and see their attitude. This little dog here is coming forward. She's interested and curious, and she's not showing any signs of fear or aggression. So I'm feeling good about that. When I reach in, I'm gonna let her smell me and talk to her and see again how she's feeling about this situation. So she's relaxed in her muscles. She's saying hello to me, her tail's wagging, so I feel good. If she were, say, back in the corner and shivering a little bit or just staring at me, I would be a little bit more cautious and I would go slowly. I also don't ever wanna just reach in blindly, especially in our bottom kennels where maybe the roof is preventing you from seeing that dog clearly. I would go down on one knee or squat in order to see how that dog's doing. I would never just reach in. It's a really good way to have them react out of fear and bite your hand, because they can't see you either and you've made no contact. So we're gonna get this one out securely here, and I'm not gonna just reach in and try to pick her up. One, she doesn't know me, she may be afraid. Two, she may have physical debilities that I might hurt if I'm just picking her up. So keeping in mind that I always want to keep my face and hands safe, first I'm going to secure her with a grooming lead. And I'm going to pull that lead forward, and this is going to give me control of her head and face before I reach back to get a hold of her body and lift her out. So my hand is far enough away that she can't bite my hand this way. I'm going to keep her face forward, and I'm gonna reach in with my other arm, pull her against me so that she feels secure. Also, still at the same time, keeping this a little bit taut so that I have control of her head and face, and I can lift her right out of the kennel. So I'm gonna show that one more time. Good girl, you're doing good. So I've got a good lead on her. My hand's far enough away from the head. I'm gonna pull her head forward, bring the side of my body in, make sure I have a good, safe, and secure hold on the rest of her, and lift her out and move forward, okay? And then we can go to the kennel. Okay, so we've left the kennel and we've got her safely secured. Her body is held firmly and securely and comfortably for her, and I've still got my front contact with my lead to make sure I have control over her head and face. And now we can put her up on the table. I'm gonna not let go until I give her a second to get her feet under her, kind of see where the edges are and see what's going on. Now I'm gonna put my grooming loop on her. So I'm gonna secure that. And again, you know, tight but not tight. I wanna be able, on the little guys, at least 2 fingers, maybe 3 or 4, should be able to fit in under the grooming loop for her comfort. And the other thing I wanna make sure of is that my arm is set at the right height level so that she is secure enough but not feeling like she's choking or being held up high. So if I were to have my arm too low, she has a lot of room on the end of this loop, even maybe enough room to step off the front of the table, and I don't want to give her that much leeway. He's nervous. So I'm gonna bring this up, and I want it just high enough so that she doesn't have a lot of room to roam around the table, but she doesn't feel like she's being held up too tight the whole time, right? And now I can go ahead and work on her. Same thing with the big dogs. If she were doing a lot of spinning around or maybe turning around to try to bite at me or stop me from doing her nails or service, I can always do the second point of contact here at the bottom of the groom loop. And now she's got 2 points, and I can keep her head facing that way while I work on the rest of her body. And then as far as your grooming table height, you do want to make sure that it's high enough that you're not slightly bent over the whole time that you're working, that you can stand up straight and make sure your ergonomics in your back are safe and protected. And now we're ready to work on this dog.